On February 6, 2026, the Downtown Frederick Hotel and Conference Center project officially broke ground, marking the start of construction on a long-anticipated addition to the city. After breaking ground, plans for the future guest experience began to materialize. A full-scale model guest room was built and approved in coordination with Marriott International and will soon be shared with the public. The project received full building permit approval, allowing construction to proceed without restrictions. With approvals in place, crews drilled deep foundations and installed structural supports to stabilize the site. Excavation followed after the removal of existing power lines, preparing the site for the building's foundation. On March 9, 2026, archaeological fieldwork on the site was completed. Prior to redevelopment, the historic Birely Tannery, demolished in December of 2025, once occupied the property. The excavation work uncovered pieces of Frederick's past and helped preserve the history of the site that will soon be home to the hotel. The findings from this archaeological work were shared on April 13, 2026, at the city's Digging Local event, a celebration of local archaeology where the public heard directly from archaeologists uncovering Frederick's history. With early work complete, the project is now moving into its next phase, constructing the foundation for both the underground parking garage and hotel. As progress continues, the Downtown Frederick Hotel and Conference Center connects Frederick's past and future, building something new while honoring the history beneath it.
So the Downtown Hotel site is the previous home of the Birely Tannery. Our work consisted of documenting the tannery-related remains still in the ground prior to their destruction for the construction of the hotel. A tannery is a location where they would take freshly removed animal hides from animals, process them to make leather out of them. The Birely Tannery itself, they decided to specialize in shoe and footwear. To showcase their leathers, they had these finished goods that they'd use. We probably recovered 6 or 7 different shoes. One of the more interesting discoveries, we did find in the bottom of one of the vats a half a cowhide. And in the end of one of the vats, we found a large, and in several pieces, grinding stone that we believe was used for grinding the bark early on. The Bireys used a bark tanning method, which means they ground bark up, placed it in these pits in the ground that were wood lined. They also had a clay lining outside the wood lining so it helped hold water. The main reason for the location was it was right next to Carroll Creek. And everything that they didn't need after they'd done with their hides and stuff just got all dumped into Carroll Creek. We found the remains of a foundation that was basically underneath the standing building that everybody assumes, or we assume was the main tannery building back into the 1860s. The tannery buildings were built in different stages, probably starting somewhere around 1860, 1870. The main building, long building that many people knew, was the first building. It was built in different stages from the back, the oldest, to the front, the newest. The eastern wing was then added. There was the fire in 1911, I believe, that they rebuilt after the fire, and it was still a tannery after the fire. And they remained kind of in that mode until 1952, when there was an additional fire in the office of the tannery. And that was sort of the last of the tannery at that time. It became the chicken processing facility. What had been brick construction before was now cinder block and concrete and other things. And I've got no real timeline on when it was abandoned. One of the goals as archaeologists is to record the past and the people in them, understanding people and our past and our history. We ended up finding a lot more than we expected, and because of the power of a backhoe, we were able to document a lot more than we expected. But it's really about understanding us and our past and how we relate to that.